Thank you for your paying attention talk and your bird talk. Yeah. So, Claire mentioned that she thanked Barbara Rhodes, Zen Master Song Hyang, who's actually the head of our school internationally, that she thanked her for her teaching, and that Bobby said, "What did I teach?" And I can tell you, knowing Bobby and being a teacher, that what did I teach was not, "Okay, student, what did I teach? I want to see if you understood." Right? It was like, "What did I teach?" Because you never, Claire was describing Bobby, taking them on these walks in these really beautiful woods behind Providence Zen Center, which is actually in Cumberland, Rhode Island, and then suddenly stopping to look at something. She wasn't teaching, she just saw something. She saw something, she stopped to look at it. I've been on walks with her, not in Providence, but in Colorado, and it's the same thing. Suddenly something catches her mind, she just stops. She wants everyone to, see this wonderful thing. I remember one time with some elk. They were just standing staring at us, But yeah, if you go around thinking you're teaching something, no. Just 100% genuine every moment. That's everyone's job. So, are there any questions? Yes.
So, last week we had a retreat.
Last week we had a retreat. I have to repeat so people can hear.
Yes. On that retreat, we had food.
On that retreat we had food. Good to know.
Yes.
Okay.
You're not supposed to like or dislike, just note the food. If that's the case, why did you make the food so good?
Okay, you're not supposed to like or dislike, just eat the food. In that case, why did I make the food so good? I'm glad you liked it. I thought it was really boring. But I want to clarify, it's not that you're not supposed to like it or dislike it. You will like some things. You won't like other things. That's fine. It's more like you're not supposed to attach. And it's not even supposed to. Don't attach to your likes and dislikes. So when our granddaughter was 10, we really wanted to bring her to California. She'd never seen the ocean, good little Kansas kid. She'd been up to Nebraska. And I think her mom took them up to the Badlands once. That was, the extent of her travels. And we kept saying we want to take her, and my son said, "You have to wait till she's 10 because she'll forget it if you take her before that. So wait till she's 10, then she'll remember." So when she was 10 years old, we took her to San Diego, which is where my parents had retired, so we were familiar with it. And she was excited about the zoo, and we told her about the ocean. And she said, "Oh, I've seen Lake Clinton." Like, all right, kid. But so we took her, the first night we were there, we took her to this beachside restaurant. The food wasn't very good, but it was on the ocean. It was right there. You stepped out, and then your feet were on the sand, right? This is very cool. So, especially if you're, a Kansas kid, you've never seen the ocean before. And she ordered mac and cheese, because she's a kid, that's what she'll order. And it came, and she started eating, and she said, "This is terrible. This just tastes awful." And we said, "Well, do you want us to order you something else?" And she said, No, I'll eat it. And she kept eating it. And every few bites she said, "This is really terrible." I've never had such bad mac and cheese. But she ate it. So that's it. And then if it was really, really good mac and cheese and she ate it and she finished it, "This is really good, I want more. I'm not hungry, but I want more." That's no good, right? Just, there it is, that's her dinner, she's gonna eat it. Maybe she likes it, maybe she doesn't like it. So that mind is the mind in which, not just on retreat, but the mind with which we approach food, with which we accept food. You eat, and when you're not hungry, you stop. And if it tastes good, that's a bonus. And when it tastes bad, well, too bad. Okay? So thank you for your question. And I'm glad you liked the food. Are there any other questions? Yes.
All right, so I have an interesting opportunity coming up.
An interesting opportunity is coming up.
Yeah, so I entered into a collaboration with somebody.
Entered into a collaboration with somebody.
And then they dropped out.
And they dropped out.
I had a gig on Friday.
You had a gig on Friday. He's a musician.
Other people stepped up.
Other people stepped up.
Gig went really great.
Gig went really great.
But I'm kind of waffling on the kind of style of music we might play.
So he's not sure what kind of music they should play.
Time is limited.
Time is limited, indeed it is.
Yeah. And everybody's looking at me.
And everybody's looking at him because you're the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel called to kind of follow it because life has sort of set all this stuff out in front of me.
You feel called to follow what?
Well, the drummer is a professional drummer.
The drummer is a professional drummer.
The bass player is a fellow guitar teacher and owns a rehearsal studio.
The bass player owns a rehearsal studio. I think that's the important part of it.
So the incredible infrastructure
Yes.
underneath this thing just fell into my lap.
Okay, incredible infrastructure fell into your lap. Lucky you.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. No question. I guess I should just do it, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what your question is.
Yeah, well,
Your question is that you're the leader. You're the.
Man, I make things from my heart.
You're serious and you play things from your heart and you're worried about being too commercial?
No, it's just that, I thought I was done with rock and roll, man.
Oh, you thought you were done with rock and roll because everybody knows that rock and roll is not serious music. Now, I know some musicians who are pretty serious who'd be very surprised to hear this, but okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So basically,
Try playing weddings.
I've been trying to make my music more
Okay.
artsy, more about me and my expression.
Okay, you want your music to go in a certain direction, but it's a collaborative. I'm going to shorten this. It's collaborative.
Yeah.
And the question is, what are the parameters with which you can push people into your vision?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, what are the situations in which you can push people into your vision? And you think I have an answer for that?
You know what? I just wanted to spit it out.
Yeah. But actually, this is an issue. In your situation, it's very obvious. You want to play a certain kind of music. You understand that it takes time to create the kind of synergy with others that allows them to join you, follow you there, add to it, contribute to it. I mean, Sun Ra didn't just start out on a street corner, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably did start on a street corner, but he didn't become Sun Ra in 5 minutes.
Well, he started on Saturn.
Okay, he started, that's right. I don't know if you know who Sun Ra. Sun Ra is this totally amazing post-jazz musician. I mean, you can't categorize him. Also, a little bit interesting ideas, but an amazing musician and very non-standard. So he had to basically train, educate people in his vision in order for them to join him. It wasn't something he would do solo. It's a Sun Ra orchestra, A-R-K. He needed a lot of people around him. And he had to bring them into his vision, not in a way where he's telling them what to do, because they had, it's very improvisatory. So they really had to, understand it and really see the direction, and it had to become their direction, at least when they were working with him. Many musicians, they play different genres at different times, and it's all fine. But when they were with Sun Ra, they had to, really accept and join and contribute to his vision. Well, that's what life is like, isn't it? I mean, here we are in this room together, and there's some people who are very new, and they might be wondering, what is going on here? do I really, does this, like that, which is fine because we're a little weird, And then there are other people who have been around for a while and they sort of see the direction, they see what's going on in a certain way, they've absorbed it. And that's every office, every construction site. My son used to do construction. Now he works for a wood firm, and when he did construction, it's like, the contractor had a vision, and you either accepted that vision or you were out, and people could disagree. And we have a contractor, part of our Sangha, Jan Shaki, and he will have a vision for his project, and the people working for him have to join his vision. And of course, contractors like to work with the same people all the time if they share the vision for the same reason, if there's somebody who understands your direction. So yeah. And sometimes we might have a vision, but I'm playing a wedding. They're not going to go for that, Sometimes we have the vision, but it doesn't suit the situation, and we need to modify it. That's not just music, that's everywhere. Yeah. So how do we do that? I don't know what that has to do with Zen Buddhism, but maybe it does. Everything does, right? Yeah. Are there any other questions? Yes.
What does that say?
What does that say? Okay, so that, oh, good, I'm pointing to the right thing. That is, this is not a mirror image, so I think I'm pointing that way and I'm really pointing, but so I was looking there, I'm pointing the right way. Okay, so this is an homage to the beings who were present in the teaching of the Avatamsaka Sutra, the Hua Om Song Jan. So Hua Om is the Korean for Hua Yen, and that means flower adornment. So it's the Flower Adornment Sutra. So Songjan is the gathering. So it's the Flower Adornment Gathering. The people who were, the beings actually, because not all of them were human, the beings who were present in the teaching of the Avatamsaka Sutra. That's what it is. Anything else? Yes.
I have a question, and it's related to the issue about the music, and it occurred to me that I have a situation where a friend came out and said something that was quite racist. And as you were talking, I thought, well, my vision of what my neighborhood should look like and her vision of what my neighborhood should look like are two different visions, and so it's well, I don't really know what my question is exactly, except for, sometimes it's kind of serious. And I'm not saying that the music thing wasn't serious, but what I'm saying is, it's life, but sometimes it's a here, these are people we're talking about and being judged very, very unfairly, and then what do I do with that? Because then what I wanted to do was when she texted in a group that I'm in playing pickleball, wanted to say, oh, you're a racist, shut up. But I can't do that. I don't know so much as that's the right thing to do, and I didn't. But I don't know. I just, so it sits with me, but I really don't know what to do with it. And I don't know. I think I should do something.
Yeah.
But what? It's just, I can sit with it, but I'm not so sure that's gonna come up with anything. Anyway,
Sitting with it is not sufficient.
Yeah.
So telling somebody you're a racist is not effective because they'll respond, I'm not a racist. They really are eating dogs and cats and, you know, whatever, Springfield, Ohio, right? So saying you're a racist is not helpful. It's not clear that responding on that forum is helpful. Possibly when you see her in person next, some kind of response is possible. Sometimes the response has to be, you are speaking badly about human beings that I care about, or about human beings who have dignity. You know, sometimes you don't call out the person, you call out the behavior. I had a friend who, she's very staunchly Republican, but at least a while back, since she became Trumpista, we haven't talked very much. But a while back, she was also very strongly in favor of choice, you know, women's right to choose. And she was telling me about a Republican meeting she was at where they were all going on anti-abortion things and how disturbed she was, and she didn't know how to say. And I said, well, whether it's true or not, just stand up and say that you had an abortion and you're really glad, you know, that you had it. So you don't say, you know, you're a racist, you're a misogynist, whatever, but sometimes you just stand up and just point to the behavior. But then there's another way of approaching it, which I recently saw on Facebook, of all places. It's really wonderful. I don't remember the whole thing, but you say to the person, this is something you would do privately, not on your, you know, pickleball app or whatever it is. You would say, you know, what experience do you have that leads you to say this? Or you might say, if what you want happens, like maybe, you know, keep these people out of our neighborhood, you know, if what you want happens, how will this affect your life? Or you might say, what would you want someone who disagrees with you to know about your motivations? Or what would you be interested in hearing from someone who disagrees with you? And then there's a fifth one, which I don't remember. But they're all geared towards being non-confrontational, towards listening, not, you know, what experience did you have? I mean, but like, you know, please tell me, why is this so important to you? What experience have you had that makes this so important to you? And, you know, it's very similar to what Ross was talking about. And it's being open and connecting, you know, the need for connection. And now I'll get all Buddhist because we are already connected. And the more we can work with those connections, even if our disagreements are very strong, the more we can work with our connections, then it calms down, it calms down, it calms down. And you know, we have to be open to seeing the other person's point of view, even when it is, like with racism, ethically reprehensible. Anytime you take a class of people and say they're no good, that's ethically reprehensible, right? But we have to be open to hearing the experience, the mindset of the person who says that, even though, you know, there's no way that, you know, you can argue about tax policy, you can argue about certain things and have very strong disagreements, but things like racism, sexism, and stuff like that, no. But yeah, so this recognition that we're so intimately, inextricably connected is such a major part of our practice. When I was sitting today and, you know, my mind would wander and then every now and then I just become aware of everyone in the room. And we're all working so hard. We're really all together in this. Nobody is alone on their cushion. We're all together in this, and we're creating this together. We're creating something that's not limited to any of us. And to bring that into this world, into what we do in our pickleball group, into what we do when we're, playing a venue and last minute musicians and, yeah, right. So that's a good place to stop. Thank you.